want some sauce?
Scene 1, Apple, take 1.
The reality is Elvis was a pretty simple eater. Typical Southern guy, you know. So you don't really have to get too, you know, hoity-toity, too posh when cooking. As long as you keep it Southern, keep it basic, you're going to be doing well. And he really liked things like picnic food, you know, potato salad and ham salad and, you know, barbecue bologna and sweets and fried chicken and stuff like that, sandwiches. Basic stuff. So we don't have to get too crazy here, but I am going to be making a couple of things. One of them is going to be fried chicken, and the second thing is going to be what's known as monkey bread. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just the drumsticks, okay? And let's go ahead and throw these in a bowl. I'm going to put a little salt in here. We're going to be putting some black pepper inside here. Okay, this is some thyme. This right here is cumin. And this is ground coriander. This is onion powder. This is garlic powder. I'm going to be using two different types of paprika. I'm going to be using some smoked paprika. And this just gives it a little bit more of basically smoky flavor. Regular paprika. And all of these things that I'm putting in here, I'm going to be using again a little bit later on for the dredging. Okay. This is cayenne pepper. This is celery seed. This is dry mustard. Okay. And you all know me and my oregano. We're going to be putting some oregano in this too. And this is a little bit of chili powder. I'm not going to go too crazy with it. And this chili powder is not the same kind of chili powder that you would get that would already have, you know, garlic powder, onion powder, and cumin in it. It's just ground chili. And that is basically what we're going to be marinating this in, along with. So let's pour some buttermilk in here. We want to kind of mix this all up. And if you want to, you know, obviously you could put all this stuff in the buttermilk first and then just pour it on there like a dressing, right? Instead of doing it the hard way like I'm doing here. But the important thing is to have all that stuff mixed up well inside the buttermilk, and having all of these pieces of chicken well marinated and covered, okay? Something like that. You know, you want to refrigerate this anywhere from 6 hours to, you know, a few days. And I actually remember having this when I was a kid, but you don't see too many people make it anymore because it is kind of a Southern grandma type of thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to end up putting a container of yeast, a package of yeast in here. Just to help that yeast on its way, let's put a little bit of sugar in there. I even got some old school milk in a glass container for this. This is a half a cup of milk. A little bit of water, about a quarter of a cup. I'm putting some butter flavored Crisco in here. You can use regular butter. I'm going to be using the Crisco though. Just a little bit under a quarter of a cup of sugar. Put an egg in here. A little bit of salt. And that should be good to go. We're going to go ahead and put this on the mixer and mix all this stuff up together real well, and then we can start adding the flour. And when making this particular dessert or bread, the name of the game is gluten. So with that mixed up a little bit, let's go ahead and raise this up and put our first cup of flour in here. We're probably going to be putting close to about 3 cups. So this first cup of flour will help mix everything together. Okay, I kind of like that. I'm going to put the rest of this flour in. And now, as soon as I get this where it's fairly well incorporated and it's not going to be throwing stuff around all over the place, I'm going to end up beating this for quite a while. I'm going to end up mixing this, or kneading it, if you will, for quite a while. I want that gluten to get built up. Now, as soon as this ends up coming together, I'm going to let it rest for about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, something like that, and just kind of let a lot of those proteins kind of relax. And then I'm going to go ahead and knead it some more for maybe like another 5-10 minutes, something like that. And then as soon as that's done, we're going to go ahead and let this proof up. As soon as it reaches about double its size, then we can go ahead and knock it down and actually start making our rolls. So while that dough is mixing up, let's go ahead and make our topping for this. And so I've got some walnuts here that I'm going to end up putting in a Ziploc bag and just kind of smashing them up. Take a handle of a knife or something. There's still too much air in this. If you don't take that air out, man, it's gonna be like a bag of chips. Have an Oprah stand on it. It's just gonna go pow all over the place. I'm gonna let the dough rest now at this point because it's been sitting there getting kneaded for about 8-10 minutes, something like that. To that, we need to add about 3/4 of a cup or so of sugar. This is ground ginger. I'm gonna put just a touch of nutmeg on here. And this is cinnamon. I just started the mixer back up. I'm going to let that go ahead and beat for a little while longer, a few more minutes. And then we're going to go ahead and let it set and proof up. Let it double in size. Okay, let's see how this dough is acting. Okay. It's got a really nice texture to it. It's nice and elastic. It's not really sticky on my hands. So I'm going to call this good. And it's not really sticking to the bowl either. That's a good sign. So if you want to, you can spray the sides with a little bit of like vegetable oil or some of those non-cooking sprays just so it doesn't stick. I'm just going to leave it as is, but I'm going to cover it. And I'm going to let this go ahead and rise, let the yeast do its work. And here maybe in about an hour, 30 minutes, hour and a half, just really depends on the temperature and how old the yeast is really. This should double in size. We can knock it down and we can start finishing up these pieces of monkey bread. So I'm finishing up, putting up the exact same herbs that I had done the first time in the marinade. Put a cup of flour in here roughly. This right here is cornstarch. Then our seasoning. And then we need to mix this up. And when it comes time, this is what we're going to use to dredge the chicken. Because it has buttermilk on it, we don't need to make an egg wash or anything like that because it's going to be soaked in buttermilk. And then that's going to end up being basically our glue. Okay, so it's been setting for a little bit. We can take this off. And just like Elvis, it's doubled in size. So we can go ahead and hit this, knock it down. With this dough being out, let's go ahead and kind of pull it in a fashion that we can somewhat make it somewhat equal. Something like that. We can go ahead and cut it. And then cut it. The whole idea now is to try to cut these into equal portions. I think I can make that work. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and grab these, roll them up in a little ball like that. Okay, and then from there we're going to put each one of them. We're gonna dip it in butter, and after we're done dipping it in butter, we're going to roll it around in our mixture here, and then after we're done doing that, we're just going to start putting it inside a bread pan. Okay, so let's kind of do this. Let's do a couple real quick. So, got the first one rolled up. It's been dipped in butter. It's been rolled in the mixture, and it just goes in there. We're just going to be laying these on top of one another. Okay, so now I'm just going to let these guys proof up again for maybe 20 minutes, and then they're going to go into the 350-degree oven. Okay, so now it is time for us to go ahead and put the batter on the chicken, and it has been marinating for a while. So we're gonna we can do this a few different ways, just for the sake of ease. We can basically end up just kind of rolling it in this. And I have the fryer on. Well, it's not really a fryer, it's a pot with oil heating up. And I've also got the oven on, because what we're going to do is we're going to fry these to a golden brown, and then what we're going to do is we're going to finish them off inside an oven 350 degrees, and then that way we know they're cooked all the way through. And it's a good idea to let these pieces of chicken sit out and get to room temperature first before you decide to try to fry them. That way the bone and everything inside there isn't like frozen, and you have cooked on the outside and raw in the middle. But this guy, shake off the rest. This one's ready to go into the hot oil. And next to the hot oil, I've got a cooling rack with a sheet pan, because that is actually going to help the chicken drain the rest of the fat off of it, as well as when we put it in the oven, it'll keep it above the fat, and then that way it'll get crispier. And the little particulates that you see inside there are just potato from French fries from earlier. Keep the batter on your hands, so that way it's like a glove, and so when you put it in there, you don't have to worry about accidentally burning your fingers. And with the size of this pot, I'm only going to be putting in one chicken leg at a time, and also because of the height of it, I don't want it to boil over, so I have to be real careful with that. And then do not turn your heat up on high. You want this to maybe be like a little bit higher than medium, maybe around 350 degrees if you have the luxury of putting a thermometer in there. Okay, so this is probably pretty close. It is. Oh. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the chicken in there. And that's about what we're looking for as far as the color. And we're going to put this on the rack and then throw the next piece of chicken in. And the last piece of chicken will go right there. And now at this point, let me kind of separate them so the heat can kind of surround them. This is going to go into a 350-degree oven for maybe about 20 minutes, just to make sure everything gets cooked all the way through. Oh. So I got about 12 minutes left before my monkey bread is going to be done. So I decided to take this up another notch, as Emerald might say, and so I'm going to end up making a cream cheese frosting for it. This butter really should be room temperature, but I just decided right now to do this. Okay, so we end up having, for at least the amount of bread that I'm making, you know, it's about a half a stick, and I'm going to be putting about a half of a package cream cheese, about a half a teaspoon of lemon juice, half a teaspoon vanilla extract. We got the buttermilk out, so let's just put a little bit of buttermilk in there to give it a little bit of tanginess. Turn this off, push down the sides, which basically is just getting some of that big chunks of butter down. Okay, and I'm going to add some powdered sugar to this. Let's put a little bit more powdered sugar in there. Let's go ahead and give it a taste. And that's cream cheese frosting, fools. All right. What do we have here? This is our monkey bread. Okay. So I just took the chicken out of the oven, and this is what we got. That's looking pretty good, if you ask me, brother. So let's go ahead and plate some of this up. I really should have made a coleslaw or a potato salad with this. Crispy walnuts. Now I didn't put a whole lot of sugar in the frosting because there's a lot of sugar already on the bread, and you're going to see that this bread kind of just tears apart with very little effort. But I'm putting this on while it's warm still, so it kind of drips in the cracks there.
How many hours do you want?
I know what you're saying. You're going to serve on a paper plate? Yeah. Simple Southern. You know, there's no reason to get fancy.
Oh, I gotta pick it. Oh, it's a little warm. I think it's still warm.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Wow, it looks juicy. See, it's moist. I told you it was gonna be moist. I like the outside. Ooh, hot. I need a fork. The outside is really crispy. I normally don't like the breading or the skin, but it's really crispy, crunchy. It's crunchy.
So what do you think, though? Scale from 1 to 10?
It's good. I mean, you know what? You know how I love my dad's fried chicken.
Yeah.
This one's good. I have to say it's probably better than his, but it's yummy. Don't tell him I said that.
Well, I know you think his is like almost like a 10.
Oh my god! Yeah. So this one's 11, 12, above the height. No, it is good.
But there's 5 more pieces. It's up to you
That's
if you want
mine.
to share or if you can.
That's fine. I'm not sharing. I'm not bringing any leftovers to my family to have. This is good. Oh, look at that.
Don't do that.
I wanted to spread it.
Where have I heard that before?
You're so weird. You know what? It just makes a
Chicken
difference
bread.
when you eat it by itself. It is more of a bread. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
more of a.
Well, it's like a cinnamon roll without having the
Yeah.
frosting on it.
It's more of a bread, but when you eat it with the frosting, it's more of a dessert. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not a big dessert fan,
Yeah, you are.
but.
Oh, then
Oh
you
my
don't
God.
mind me throwing away all your mochi ice cream then?
No, that's not what I meant.
You don't mind me getting in there with all that chocolate I see
oh
that's
my
in
god!
it?
I like this.
Oh, changing the subject
No,
now?
no, I just tasted this part. I like this this outside the bottom part.
Because it's caramelized?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. It's good. This part is.
Because it's caramelized, yeah.
That's probably my best part, and with the icing.
Well, Elvis liked picnic food. He liked the
really?
food. Yeah, he liked the southern food that you would typically have like at a picnic or a family get together. And I think for him, a lot of it's comfort food.
Oh my
You know what I
God.
mean? Because it reminded him of growing up and being around his family and stuff. And
Oh my god! I didn't realize I ate the entire piece.
you only eat a quarter.
I know, but that's a lot for me. I don't know. It's
You'll
good.
live, I think.
That last bite was yummy because it was The
Caramelized, yeah.
caramelized is really good.
You should have one in there, man.